He's getting his hands on.
Is that your citizenship? Okay.
Okay, ready? Everybody? Oh, are we getting? We're good. Okay, I call this meeting to order, our study session for June 7th, 2026 at 6 o'clock. Our first presentation is a 6-year transportation improvement plan. Otherwise known as STIP, I believe presented by.
Correct. And Reza, our city engineer, is here in case I mess anything up. So I gave you 2 handouts. One is every project that's on our 6-year transportation plan. So all of that is all the listed projects. So these are projects that we intend to do in the next 6 years, barring funding. So obviously, if we had an infinite amount of money, we would get all these done in the next 6 years. That's not the case. So sometimes things have to take priority over other ones. A lot of these have been on our transportation plan for multiple years. But some of the ones I want to point out is you'll notice the first one in your first page is Bald Hills Morris Road. That's the roundabout we're currently designing. So next year, when the project starts, that will disappear from your STIP. Then you go into Killian to Collins Road, a Coates Avenue connector. I'm going to go over some of these. If you have a question about one specific one, then you can stop it. There's a couple I'm going to highlight. Yeah. Go.
Are you saying these
In order, yeah. So you should have front and back.
So if you look at the bottom there, it says page 1.
Yeah.
And then you've handed them all to us upside down.
Look at all. There you go. We'll start with page 1. I'll wait.
Okay.
Yeah, go to page 1.
Don't unravel them.
Yeah, on page 1.
Okay.
Following you too. Following you down that trail. Me, not me. Thank you.
Yeah. And then you'll see the project name. So it says, don't worry about the classification. The biggest thing you'll worry about is project name. And it's under on the left side where there's kind of the list of things. It says the project name, Bald Hills at Morris Road Southeast Intersection Improvements.
Oh, this is making sense.
Yeah. The cost is on the bottom. So how our STIP breaks down all the projects and how much they cost. Then we adjust our transportation facilities charges based on these projects in order to fund them. So the STIP is how much everything costs and how much we expect it to cost. There's a very complicated formula to create a traffic facilities charge that we charge houses or trips when someone comes in. So like say a Panda Express comes in. They would say, hey, we're going to generate 40 new trips to the city of Yelm. They would, on their TIA, or if they want to go with the instruction manual, they can just go off that. A lot of times they'll provide a TIA. We say, okay, you're generating 40 trips. You need to pay X amount of dollars for those trips. Those dollars then go to our facilities charges. We then do projects based on those impacts. Pan Express example paid, I think, upwards of $300,000 in total fees, about 150 to 180. That was just traffic facilities charges. So that's money they pay into us to help build new roads, which is awesome, right? Because everybody always asks, how do we get new roads? Growth pays for new roads. Okay, so first project, as you saw, Bald Hills and Morris Road South. That's a roundabout on there.
When you say they pay us, it's a one-time payment, is that correct?
Correct, a one-time payment, and then their trips, the one thing that to be reminded of, those trips carry with the parcel. So say Panda Express, not that this would happen, but Panda Express pays for 40 trips. And then later on that parcel develops to be 70 homes. They would be credited with 40 trips, and then they'd have to pay the difference of 30 more trips that the 70 homes will create. If they go backwards, we don't refund them. So say they are Panda Express now, but then they turn into a single family home. These are not things that'll happen. I'm just giving you scenarios. A single family home, they have 39 trips accredited to that parcel that they could later use, but we don't give them a refund on those 39 trips. The parcel is just credited with those. A lot of times you'll see this in strip malls. They'll pay for the highest usage that strip mall could generate. So if a very, barbershop that gets a lot of people is in there, they pay for that highest percentage so they can put anything smaller in there and not have to pay facilities charges. That way we don't have to go back and, hey, wait, you upgraded, you said you were going to do a daycare facility that's only going to generate 2 trips, and now you have a restaurant that generates 50 trips. You need to now pay the difference. So we always try to do the highest charge possible or highest trips possible so they can build whatever they want. Okay, so Bald Hills Morris Road, you flip it over for page 2. You have Coates Avenue Northwest. That's a Killian Road to Collins Road connector. And if you don't know, I have a map over here so I can point to any of the projects. I'm going to, like I said, skim over some of these that aren't super, you won't notice the biggest impact, and I'll focus on some that are gonna really generate really big impacts to our traffic and how things flow. Next up, Longmire and 510, this is, oh yes.
I'm curious, did Coates Road change to Coates Avenue? Cause I thought that was Coates Road.
I think it's Coates Avenue, yes. Collins Road, I think is what you might be thinking of. But we'll check it out to verify. If the names are wrong, it's whatever they classified as, it might be a sign that's wrong or something. We do the federal classification so we can give that to TRBC.
It's Coates Avenue.
It's Coates Avenue, okay. Thank you, President. See, that's why he's here. He's got the answers. Next up, Longmire 510. So if you know where Longmire intersects with 510, right next to Gigi's Quilts. There's intersection improvements there. We just did an ICE, which is called an intersection control evaluation for that intersection. And we're gonna probably have a roundabout coming in there to that intersection. The good news is we've already let the owners know around there that there could be some things that will happen to the roundabout. Gigi's Quilts will be fine. They'll just lose some of their front door parking, but they'll get back parking on it. The pet or the Nisqually Vet Clinic, which is on the corner coming in next to Sure Clean Car Wash, has already been made aware of it. So they've designed their building in a way, and same with El Rey Borough, that they've got enough room in there that we could put a roundabout in. And that roundabout ICE has been done, so we can start on that roundabout whenever. Most likely what will happen is once projects come in like Tahoma Ranch, that's behind the medical plaza, and I'm saying a lot of names, so if you're confused about anything, they're gonna pay into that, which is about $1 million. That would then be able to fund this project and we'd start on this project. Some specific improvements are funded by specific things. So if something is in an area and you build this giant development, you'll fund the project that's in that area to help fix your traffic impact that you're doing. So you won't always see, you'll see sometimes a difference, like Toma Ranch, they're paying more money into Longmire intersection because it's specifically they're impacting that intersection. But they still provide, the money they provide goes to any project in here, but they're paying extra money just into this. And you might see the same thing if something was built over by Walmart, they may pay into something over on that section of the road more so because they're having a bigger impact on that section to mitigate their impact. Okay, page 4, Mill Road 507 improvements. We just went out to bid for this. This is that Mill Road realignment. We're adding a turn lane on Mill Road and widening that intersection quite a bit and adding sidewalks. We got bids back last week. And we'll be bringing that to council at their next there's end of the July council meeting. So you actually will see that project come in. So that project's under construction. So this would drop off next year. It wouldn't be on your STIP next year.
Is that under budget, Cody, on that one?
The bids came in under budget. So you notice on here, the estimated cost is 1.4 million. The bids came in, the lowest bid came in at just over 1 million. So
There'll be an amendment.
I'm sure there'll be an amendment. No, this one is pretty straightforward project, so it shouldn't be too bad. Now, amendments happen in other places, but not for that kind of thing. Mosman Avenue Southeast Phase 3, which is 2nd to 4th Street. This is punching Mosman Avenue all the way through to 4th Street. This is on our STIP. Every year we apply for money to try to get this road punched through because it's like their downtown focus right over here. So this is a project that we keep collecting money for and we'll eventually do, but we keep applying for money every year on it. So that punches Mosman through 4th Street all the way. NP Canal Wilkinson Road intersection. So if you know the area where the bypass or the loop will connect into Wilkinson, there's gonna be a roundabout there. And if you've been out to that area, Canal Road connecting is just a nightmare in terms of getting left turning. What'll probably happen is this road will get redone when those properties develop. So there's 3 industrial parcels that we're bringing to council to rezone next meeting. Though once those parcels develop as residential, they'll probably have to do some improvement to that intersection. I'm guessing some kind of roundabout that'll bring those 3 roads into each other. And then that will fix that problem. But we're also collecting money to do that. Page 7, there's a lot of pages, so we're gonna keep going. Road and road reconstruction, as you guys know, this is starting next year. We have all the money for this. This will drop off the STIP next year. And as things drop off the STIP, we bring new things onto the STIP. Right? So the money every year fluctuates how much we collect. It can go up, it can go down. It's just based on what kind of projects we have on here. And we added a couple this year. That's why the transportation impact fees went up a little bit this year is because we added, and I'll get to those and tell you what those projects are. Page 8 is a filler page in case you were bored. Page 9 is the 507 Bald Hill Roundabout, which we are doing in conjunction with WASDOT. That project will start next year. Next up is 510 Burnett 93rd. So, oh, go ahead, going back.
The 507 Ball Hill Roundabout next year, you said?
Yeah, construction starts on that next year.
Is that the Starbucks intersection and all of that?
Yep, it's the Morris Road, yep.
I thought that was due to start earlier. Was there a delay?
It could start late this year, but with the way WASDOT responds to our inquiries and paperwork, I'm gonna say next year. Yeah. It could have started last year if they were quicker on their. So yeah, we're shoot for next year when it comes to those kind of things. We're hoping, it sounds like Thurston County's on the same board. They're gonna start next year too with Vale Road. And then the not so great part is Pierce County, they're still working. I know Barkus is pushing on Pierce County and the 702, 507 roundabout, because that is our choke point, right?
More recent updates on that one?
The only thing I know is last time I talked to Barkus, Pierce County had some conversations with WASDOT, but there's still nothing set in stone. Which every time that goes, that's a long project. It's gonna be probably a 2-year project to just get going. And if they haven't even started yet, that's scary. So, and we've offered to take it, but it's not in our county or in our city. So it makes it a little bit more difficult.
You're gonna have to, rather than offer. Just let them know that.
Yeah, I thought about taking a temporary position at WASDOT just to do it and then come back. So maybe next time. Okay, so on to 510 Burnett 93rd. This is the realignment of Burnett, which is over by Northwest Grind, and 93rd, which is, where Get Fit is and Steel Clayton Barbecue. So it brings those roads together to create some kind of intersection improvement. We assume a roundabout where Burnett and 93rd will be connected. And there'll be a roundabout right when you enter town on that area. If you've been there, taking a left out of 93rd is kind of crazy and not safe. And taking a left out of Burnett is same thing. So this will realign those intersections. Next up is Walmart Boulevard extension. This is the loop phase 3A. So 507 to Bald Hill Road. This is bringing where the loop ends down to Bald Hill Road on our side. So past Walmart, there's gonna be a roundabout right there. You're gonna keep going down to the vacant property to the south right now, and that would go through and connect to Bald Hill Road. So we're calling it the Southern Loop or the Solo for short. So, be like Star Wars or whatever. Yeah. That one, so the really good thing about this project is that the property is developing right now south of Walmart, so the road will get punched through and it'll be dead-ended right above, and there's only one property in between us and Bald Hill Road. And we've talked to the owner before and he is interested in selling, so that could be an earlier connection than we expect, which is exciting.
More like place the importance on this project.
Yeah.
It's huge for us. It's gonna hopefully complete the diamond that we're trying to do with the northern loop, the loop that's going in right now. It's the northern part, the southern loop that we're working on right now. Or what do you call it?
Solo.
Solo.
Yeah.
The solo over there, which will connect past a little bit past Works Road. And then to this portion here. So this will really move traffic inside of Yelm, or outside of it. The Sulu?
Southern is a loop.
We'll work on the
We'll work on that. Okay, that's exciting because that part's been on there. So y'all, there's an exciting part that's coming up I want to show you when we get to these the projects at the end here. Yelm Creek hydraulic study. This is we've always had issues. We actually haven't had it recently, but Bald Hills Road, if you remember, you've been here a while, used to flood over. It hasn't been an issue recently, and we think because of other factors and groundwater and other stuff, it hasn't been flooding. But it's something we still need to address at some point, is either putting culverts under Bald Hill Road or something else to fix that. It is in our emergency management plan. When City Administrator Stansel was chief, he had an emergency management plan to do some kind of improvements of Bald Hill Road. So it's still something we gotta assess and look at to eventually improve.
The study, if I remember correct, the study was already done. It's a really big, quick one. It took me 2 weeks to go through it prior to becoming a council member. And I don't know, why are we redoing a study when that study came through and specifically said in reference to fixing Yelm Creek, it needs to be dredged, the invasive species need to be removed, and some of the bank needs to be shored up so that water can start flowing there properly instead of backing up, and that's what used to flood the hills.
So what we're not looking at a study of how to restore the creek. This is more of a hydraulic study to see what needs to be done to Bald Hill Road to allow flow or to not have water flowing over it. So yeah, you're right, a study was done to Yelm Creek about dredging and all the things to restore Yelm Creek, but we're more worried about in this study, like what does a road need to look like in order to be able to be sustained?
It's a separate issue, but
Yeah.
I think it's important too that I think we will
Yeah.
address and, if you want to bring this up to the initiative, I do think it's a well worthy project.
Yeah. So these are the new projects now. We're on page 13. These are the really important ones. So we've had recently council approved the annexation that happened, and we've had a lot of activity on some of the end of these roads. So one of the connectors that's going to look like it's gonna happen sooner rather than later is Vansel to Morris Road. So Vansel Road is where it ends behind Safeway, and Morris Road is on the way to Prairie Elementary. So there is massive development happening at the end of Vansel Street, and they're going to bring that road up to right before Morris Road. There'll be one parcel in between where the power lines are on Morris Road. We can, once that development happens, we can punch that road through for pretty minimal cost, and that'll get you a direct neighborhood collector? No,
That's gonna be it, urban arterial.
urban arterial. So put an urban arterial road, which is a 3-lane road, turn lane in the middle, connecting Morris Road to Vansel Road. And that road will eventually connect to Bald Hill Road, which will eventually connect to the loop, which will eventually connect to Clark Road. And you'll have this nice southern loop happening as we bring everything together. So this project is on our STIP now because it's very likely this will happen with that development coming in behind Vansel Road. Before then, there were so many property owners. We had probably 20 property owners back there we had to negotiate with to try to get right away. And it was just not a practical project. But now that the developer came in and is buying multiple of those properties and building development back there, it'll bring that road through, which is going to be amazing for traffic in Yelm and people to get around, right? I know people that live on Morris Road that definitely do not want to ever hit 507, and now they can just go, "Ooh, I can go up to this collector and go right to Safeway and leave, or I can go to downtown." It's great. Which brings us to bringing the extended loop, Yelm Loop to Bald Hill Road. This is just continuing that loop and that connection down to C. Oh, so this one it's a 105th extension, so you're on page 15 now. If you know 105th Road is a road that runs behind Yelm Terra. It's off of Clark Road right now. And it used to, when I was a kid, we used to take it, and it used to be a little tiny area you could drive through to get to Mill Pond Elementary. They blocked it off, right? It's privately owned. Well, we have an area now that we can get to Mill Road from 105th. We can punch that road through, where we go through kind of like a southern development and bring it over. So that extension's back on here because it's likely to happen. So 105th, instead of dead ending at 105th, will continue through and will punch through to Mill Road. So you'll be able to cut across from Clark to Mill, which is pretty exciting. 105th also has a good chance of extending to Vansel. There's a development coming in off of Clark Road right now, 2 developments coming in that'll help 105th go all the way through to Vansel, right next to Safeway, right behind Bud Barn.
So it's not a private road?
It is a private road. Once 105th ends, it turns into a private road now.
Yeah.
But there's enough right away with development coming in, we can sneak it in, and we only have to buy from one parcel. So we'll have to buy right away from one parcel, and we can punch it through the rest of the way.
So then, public,
Then it becomes public road, yes.
wow, you used to take that road all the time.
I know, and that's why they blocked it off, because we were taking it all the time.
Oh, we were going pretty fast.
Yeah, down that tiny narrow thing, you carve under the wind, you slam your brakes. I remember that.
Yeah.
And the last one, which is what we just talked about, Clark Road to Vansel. This one, so I remember I talked about, we get Morris to Vansel, Vansel to Clark Road. This development's so big in the back of Vansel, it's going to get us one parcel away from plugging Vansel Road over to Clark Road. Which will give you, if you live off Clark or 109th or Mill Road, you can just drive this to go across to Vansel, all the way to Morris Road or up to Safeway or wherever. So this connector is something that, because of that development coming in off the back of Vansel Road, is going to get us one parcel away from Clark Road as well. So we're gonna have a big development that comes back there. I'm gonna pull this map up so you can see it. So we have a big development coming back here that'll bring the road one parcel. This parcel will be the only parcel in between us and Clark. And then this parcel right here will be the only parcel in between us and Morris. So you'll have 2 parcels we'll have to negotiate with to put a road through, which is much easier to do. Yeah. Zoom in. I'll show you a better map, but just to give you an idea, if you've been on the back of those roads, we'll have one parcel on each end, and it'll be easier to negotiate with that one owner. I've already talked to the owner that's on the Clark Road, and they are fine with selling are helping us get right away through there. Then they want to stay in Yelm anyways, so they're excited to move if they have to. And then I haven't talked to the other parcels, but I used to live here when I was a kid, so I know the owners of those, so I'll talk to them.
So these are all the roads in
These are all the roads in the next 6 years.
Algiers gonna be on the next run?
Yeah, so every year we update and move stuff. Algiers, because it's a private and it hasn't, if you've noticed, it was really big when it happened. But you've noticed there hasn't been much say about it since it's happened because people just kind of move around without it. It's one of those roads like you realize when you know it's there, it hurts, but when it's gone, exactly. So,
Goes by the post office.
yeah, so the road got shut down.
And
Five years ago.
there should be some impact, I mean.
Not that they paid a lot of impact fees, but so Algiers is something that's not on our 6 year because there's other roads that we can move more traffic with now that are more impactful than spending 2 million on a private road that benefits a couple businesses. Now, it would benefit those businesses 100%. They would do extremely well to have a bypass road, but if I can build a Mansell to Morris Road connector and help thousands of residents, I'll do that.
Which is bad code written back on things.
Yeah, it was, yeah, I won't slander anyone's name from back then. But no, so those are all the big projects that are, I'll set that down there. Those are the 6 year projects in our 6 year. Every year we update this, you'll see projects fall off, you'll see new projects on. This comes to council for approval at the end of this month. And then with this, the traffic impact fees will be adjusted. In front of you is a traffic, it shows what the fees were last year. Obviously, those fees have probably increased across the state. I highlighted our number where the middle ground was, and you can find us, we're near the bottom of that. We're gonna still be, our fees will be adjusted, but they'll still be under what the median is in the state. And then every year we readjust based on what it is. So we're looking at about 5,400 will be what our fee will be in this next year.
Lots of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Deciding like which projects you were gonna put on, which are, all of that, is that something that's done through the planning commission, or is it done solely and you present it to the planning commission?
So we present it to planning commission, but this is completely our department that we have our engineer in there, we have our project managers in there, we have the planning department there, and we see what projects are happening now, where we need to put roads ASAP. Yeah, it's literally priority based on where development is happening. Some of the roads we had thrown out that aren't on here, we did throw out the Toma Boulevard all the way to 507. We did put that on there, but with the Blue Fern development, them doing that, putting that on here would raise our transportation impact fees severely, like it'd make houses way more expensive to add that on there, so we decided to leave that off. Another one that we didn't add on here is Clark Road itself. We are planning on putting Clark Road on next year, because Clark Road, you're gonna have all these new developments coming in, and they're gonna have a small, I think it's 10-foot travel lane, so we wanna widen that road and put sidewalks on the sides. So that's another one that you'll probably see on next year that wasn't put on this year, because we knew development was happening, but it wasn't gonna happen they weren't gonna finish the projects this year, so. Yeah.
So the fee that you have there for Yelm, 3,268, is that per trip?
Per trip, per peak PM trip, and PM means post meridian or nighttime. So between the hours of 4 and 6.
This
Yeah.
is coming to us all as one package altogether.
Yeah, so you'll get this will come first, you'll approve this, and then the traffic impact fee will come second that is connected to this. This has to be a public hearing, it'll be open, council, the traffic impact fee is set based on a formula that we were prescribed. You have to use a formula based on the amount the projects cost. So that's where we just put the numbers in and it spits out the number that we own or what the traffic impact fee will be.
Who pays for these fees, Cody? When you say they're going up, is it average residents that are paying for this?
No, so a new build, usually it's not usually, it is a new builder, so new construction for commercial, new construction for residential. If you buy a house that's already built, you don't pay for it. You don't, like if I buy a home that's already built, remember the trips stay with the parcel, so that house was built 10 years ago. And they paid a traffic impact fee of $1,200 it was 10 years ago, that's what it was. I don't have to pay the difference, I just get to move in, that trip's already attributed to the parcel. Same thing with commercial, yeah, commercial is already accredited, so if you have a giant restaurant, and you sell your restaurant, people don't have to pay new traffic impact fees, it's already assessed at what the current, or what it was.
So on Yelm Avenue, we're looking from here to Roy, we're looking at about 7 roundabouts. On Yelm Avenue only.
When it's all said and done, yeah, I would say that's, yeah, you got Burnett 93rd, you have Longmire, you'll have
4 corners.
You'll have five corners.
5 corners.
Yep, 5 corners. You'll have Walmart Boulevard.
Vale.
You'll have Vale Road. You'll have 702.
Yeah.
And then
7.
that's, you'll have 6.
Same thing we're doing on potholes
Yeah.
right now.
So we're y'all will be a roundabout.
We're already doing with potholes, it's fine.
Yeah.
Let's get used to this.
Yeah, it's getting you prepped. We're prepping you with potholes. So.
When people ask, what are you doing for traffic here in Yelm? This is what we're doing, the 6-year traffic improvement plan. That's that's your part of your job, it's part of our job to help move traffic here in Yelm. But this is impactful. The stuff that we're talking about now, it is gonna move traffic here in Yelm. So
I really like the back roads that.
Absolutely.
The main road, especially when it comes to like, Clark in the middle, but then. Mossman.
Yeah, Mosman the 4th, all of those will just help move traffic, yeah.
So does
charity
any-
projects, so.
Anything start this year where the ground will be dug up and we're gonna start the roundabouts?
So I thought the 5 corners would start this year, but they're probably gonna start early next year. You're gonna have 2 projects next year, Roten Road starts next year and 5 corners starts next year.
Or it should start this year.
Well, yeah, that they will have, the bypass will start this year, the alleyway will start this year, Mill Road will start this year. Mill Road's gonna start as soon as you guys approve it. That's actually gonna happen in the next month and a half. So that's gonna be, Mill Road will be widened and it'll be great. So, and sidewalks out of it.
have to get used to calling that something other than 5 corners.
It's multiple 5 corners.
I know.
5 circles or something, we'll call it. Yeah.
Circle 5.
Yeah. Circle K.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for traffic and that's the impact fee at the same time. So you guys will see both of them come to you. The impact fees are just based off of this.
And all the, when people say, all these houses are moving in, all these apartments, this is paying for all this, the new growth, pays for all these new improvements that we have. We could not afford otherwise, so it's important that growth pays for growth.
When did this increase, or when will this, or when was the last time it was increased, I guess? As well?
Every year we adjust.
So can you tell us what it was last year?
That's number right there is what it was last year. Yeah.
And this year is,
Gonna be, this 26 is gonna be about 5,400.
wow.
Yeah.
Which is still below
Still below the median. And you got, these are all last year's numbers, so that all the numbers probably shifted up.
yeah.
Right, so the average probably isn't 56,
I would imagine it's 57, 50, yeah, it's much higher, but we can't get the numbers until because everybody's has to do their transportation stuff at the same time. They all do it in June, July timeframe. And so the new numbers will come out after we've done our numbers too, so.
Just for the audience, North Bend is the highest at $16,120.
I know 2 different families that just moved to Davenport, which is at the very bottom of the list. Yeah.
It's pretty cheap for them.
Well, population, is like 1,800 people, so.
I'm surprised period's so affordable.
When was the last time you were there?
And remember, these fees are based on new road construction. They can't be used for maintenance. So if a city already has all the roads built and they're like, we can't build new roads, the fees will end up dropping. Like their fees will drop off because they don't have new roads to build, right? If it's fully built out, I'm sure Seattle's are small because they're not building new, maybe they're high, I don't know. They're not building new roads.
You guys are, thinking about this as well, but I just wanna make sure that in this getting traffic around and doing all that, we don't forget the walkability, we don't forget that we don't, we want bike lanes, that this is still Yelm and this is still, that feeling of being able to walk everywhere. And so I think growth is great. And as we're expanding roads, we need those, but just keeping in mind that we still want to walk everywhere and for that feeling of.
Absolutely, no, I couldn't agree more. One of the projects I think really exemplifies that is a road project, which came off this list.
No, it's on this list. It comes off as soon as it starts construction, but
That's a great example of it. Right now, we don't really have sidewalks in that area. This project creates a very nice sidewalk, a walkable area, bicycle lane, I believe.
it creates a 10-foot shared use path. So it's actually a 10-foot path along the dog park side that'll connect the trail to the loop or the northern loop. So you'll have this awesome shared use path that someone could drive on and ride on and.
Okay, yes, love that.
Yeah, and we know, important, we have the good thing to point out is Reza is an avid biker. He drives bikes everywhere in Yelm. He constantly tells us, hey, we don't have a bike path here. I almost got hit here. Can we fix this? And so he is advocating every day for bicyclists in
I would
Yelm,
like
so.
to be brave enough to ride my bike, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
You will see him.
Have you run down 103rd over that ridge?
Tell me if they come get some life insurance.
On that kind of note, I did have a couple constituents reach out and say they do appreciate what Public Works has been doing from Yelm as well as the county on the Yelm Tenino Rainier Trail.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's been, the trails is an amazing system. If you haven't been on it. We're
Kudos to your team on filling those.
Yeah, it's been great. No, thank you guys. Any other questions?
It's a little off topic and I should have asked it at my last meeting, but it slipped my mind till now. And I'm sure you've all seen these guys on the electric bikes. I think we need some clarification on what's they're capable of doing or where they're capable of traveling, because I see them blasted down the sidewalks and bike paths and it's also.
If I could add, I know that there's already discussion going on with that. You'll notice that there are two different types of e-bikes. There's ones with a serial number and one with a VIN. The ones with the VIN are the ones that can get up to about 45 miles per hour plus. The ones with the serial numbers, they get up to maybe about 20. So they've kind of worked on that. And one of the things that's being discussed is the ones with the VINs, do they get registered and licensed through Department of licensing, or how does that go about? And it's because they have the VIN, you can do that, vice the serial number. So that is something that's in the works and being is slowly developing.
Well, I think it's common knowledge, anything that's Fred Flintstone powered by your feet or your legs, sidewalk. If he's got a motor or something that generates power besides your human body, probably get off the sidewalk.
I just think I think it's a gray area.
Yeah,
It's something we should be discussing, and I think maybe Public Services Committee can start talking about that.
I do want to share that at the conference of the Washington Association of Cities, there was one city that did this, and so what they did is for the youth is they set up like a program with the local police where they have to take their bike, get like a little safety spiel, then they get a sticker on that bike, and then the police know, okay, we've talked to this boy, we have not, or this girl, we have not talked to them yet. Like, and that's they did because they were having the same sort of thing, and it's kids using them. And that's one idea.
And a crosswalk, and not also ride your bike across the crosswalk, just get off your bike and walk it across the crosswalk. People don't know that.
I was taught that as a kid, that doesn't.
Put a sticker on my bike. To go eventually.
Yeah, I didn't know that, I'm not a bike rider, so I would be up there.
Reza, when you cross the crosswalk to get off your bike, I can't talk to you right now. No, just because.
So depends. When there's a bike lane, I mean, that's a.
Oh, yeah, on the road.
When there is no bike lane, I think that for me it's safe to use the sidewalk, but
Yeah.
definitely if there is a pedestrian, I either slow down or just.
Not great for your safety.
That's fair. All right, are there any more questions for Cody as he walks away? We're good, yes, wonderful. All right, RH2R plan. Brad.
You want me to help out?
Oh, yeah, here, let me keep one.
Keep going.
So as you all know, as Blue Fern starts to develop up there, or even if they don't develop, we need to start figuring out how to get water to our development area. So next week, I'll be bringing an agreement with RH2 to you guys for approval to get that ball rolling. So on this piece of paper, I explained a little bit of the background on this. We had RH2 put together a tech memo earlier this year, just kind of putting together where are we going to put this well, reservoir, treatment plant, and determining where our pressure zones are going to be. Because right now, historically, Yelm has always been in one single pressure zone. We're going to change as we start to go up in elevation. We're going to have to change our pressure zones. Could involve some booster pump stations along the way. So there is a lot to this. And one of the big things is the groundwater exploration, which is what we're going to start immediately. So this will put together a bid package for a well driller to come out and drill, I believe, a 2-inch well that could go up to 800 feet deep to
see what kind of quantity and quality of water that we have. Now, we expect to have very similar water to what we have at the Southwest well currently. Because we are in the same aquifer, but you never know.
So you're aiming for that one that's 800 to 1,000 feet down.
Well, Southwest well right now is currently 660 feet deep. So if we reach good volume and quality at that depth. Drilling.
Based off of what
That's
we,
enough.
what happened up there before, do you anticipate that a good one going well for us? Cause this,
Yeah.
as memory serves, we were able to leave that thing, we're gonna run for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Wide open
And
and
I don't,
impact on
Right.
anything.
right. Yeah,
That's good
we,
stuff.
we expect there not to be any issues. It's just until you know, you don't know.
Brett,
Do we have the water rights? Is there enough water?
So currently we have plenty of water rights, but we do need to be thinking about the future. I mean, in 20 years from now, as we start to develop, then, we're gonna need more. But right now, we have an abundance that we could potentially, and that's part of their scope in this as well, is to transfer some of those water rights to our new well. So we want to get that started now, which is kind of what we did at Southwest Well. We needed to transfer water rights from here so we could get that up and running and actually run that well because it was mothballed for so long. So, but then after our water through and those water rights that we stole from here, go back here. So there's a lot to
We just borrowed them, man.
just borrowed. We put them back. So, so like I said, groundwater exploration, water rights, groundwater modeling, the groundwater, mitigation plan, update. So there's a lot of pieces to this. This is gonna be a multi-year, multi-phase project. So no matter what happens with the development up there, we need to be thinking about this now.
did we ever pursue anything on the golf course well?
We did.
Is that
Um,
worth pursuing?
there is not, what was the number? Was it like? You remember what, like 60 acre feet per year? 67 acre feet per year is what they have. We have 1,700 something. So it's not that it wouldn't be worth getting, but we might have a hard time prying it out of Casey's hands. So, but we can always keep trying. Because I would love to see them hook up to our reclaimed water and irrigate with that. But I don't know, Peterson boys. So, yeah, any little bit that we can get, it would be worth it. It's just finding those water rights.
And do they have a location where they're gonna drill?
Yeah, we have a rough location, and that is at the highest point. Our highest point in the 640.
Is it in the elk section?
No. Well, where is that?
I don't know, wherever they go.
Let's just say no, it's not now. Well, it's actually, let's see, it would be the northwest corner.
For the green trees.
Make sure there was any.
Where the deer and the buffalo belong.
Right.
No pocket filters there.
No. Actually, there's, well, say there's
Thank
none.
you for the map.
Right there,
Yeah.
where the deer and the buffalo.
Neat.
They all go right here. Right here. After this water tower goes in,
Is that
Are we
like
gonna
a
need-
road or something?
Like Joe's talking.
after we put up this well, is there gonna be, or reservoir, is there gonna be any more need for the future for that, or will this? be good for a
Honestly,
while?
this is gonna hold us for a lot of years. I mean, right now, well, you guys all know the reservoir we put over here is 1.55 million gallons. The minimum size that we would put up here is 1.2 million with the potential of 2.1. So we just need to figure all that out, what we need. The well If it's anything like Southwest Well, it'll produce 15 to 2,000 gallons per minute. After this is complete, we should be solid for a very long time. Water rights will come into play at some point.
Did I answer your
Yeah,
question?
no, I'm Cody, where does that come out? Cause people call me and say, hey, what's that noise? What's that thing I see? Who's doing that out there? So where is that northwest section? Yeah, what street? is it?
JBLM's right here.
There's no
That's
street.
JBL.
Yeah, there's a,
That's way.
yeah, Minky Road runs like right here.
Trees that.
Here in the Buffalo, bro.
Yeah, they might be hearing JBLM out here. Cause JBLM does do drills and stuff out here.
Because there is-
Residential.
No, these guys are not working yet now.
Yeah, there's
Alright.
not a lot of action out there right now. So
I'm curious, you mentioned that we're all, the water system in Yelm's all on one level right now, but if memory serves, didn't we with Palisades West, didn't we have to do some step
Yeah.
down?
So we're still all on the same pressure zone, but they are boosted. So that booster station at the bottom of that hill, if you guys all remember, that developer came in, built one house, and the city told them, you're out of luck until you can boost this water for fire flow. And so they went under, I believe, and the bank took over the property and built that booster pump station.
Now, the booster pump station, but my recollection was there was an issue with the water coming back down into our water reclamation facility there was nothing to stop it from,
The pressure is too high.
yeah, gaining, blowing out our manhole covers.
I don't, unless there was a check valve that went fouled or something.
Well, I don't think they had anything in place at all, so that was the. one of the
Oh,
things that the
okay.
reserves was one of the
Okay.
concerns. Bringing that stuff up.
Okay, I don't recall that.
I don't remember that either, but it's very powerful, that elevation. I think we're probably gonna face some similar stuff. The higher
Yeah, that's my
elevation,
point.
so-
I think we do have some experience of, or at least not
Yeah.
going into it completely blind.
Right, absolutely. Any other questions? So this will be coming to you guys next week. And like I said, this is just phase one. We need to get into this and see where it takes us, but it's gonna be a process.
This will be coming to us next week.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep,
200.
288 and 100.
RH New Engineering.
Right.
Thank you.
And then up next, we have the mayor's report. 646 years president.
Do you wanna talk about it?
Roshan.
Happy to do it if you want it.
Rock, paper, scissors, doing
I'll give you an update where we are with Blue Fern. So we're working on finalizing the language in the ordinance that will create the CRF district. The CRF is tied somewhat to the development agreement, so they kind of got to go hand in hand. We didn't want to do too much with the development agreement until we knew we had a clear path in the creation of the ordinance in the CRF. So we had our first meeting today officially with Southeast Thurston Fire. They do have to participate in this CRF, which a majority of fire districts get their money from property taxes, so their impacts are different than us, for example. So we met with them today with our consultant, answered a bunch of their questions, gave them a lot of information. They felt, optimistic that this would be something that they want to participate in. They understand that, without their participation, that this CRF probably doesn't happen. It doesn't get created. So they are going to take this back. They're going to create a work group with the commissioners, with the fire commissioners. They'll start as a work group. At some point, this will come to the full commission for their vote to participate. We expect that probably in August, early September is the timeline they gave us. What we're doing now is finalizing the language in the ordinance. Once the ordinance language is finalized, that will go to our bond attorney. our bond attorney has to sign off because it is a bond, even though it's not a bond directly through the city, it is a bond we're participating in. So our bond attorney has to agree and sign off on that language. So while that's happening, we are going to send our draft back to Blue Fern on the development agreement. So they send us their agreement in May. We are going to submit all of our revisions and suggestions back to them by middle of next week.
And is that with input with staff, and how does that development agreement get made, Todd? Sorry,
How does it
from our perspective.
How does it get what?
How do we rebuttal that negotiation wise? Basically, I'm asking if staff has input or.
Yeah, so the development agreement is going to explain how this thing is going to get built out over the next 25 years. So it's a significant document that will be the kind of the guiding principles for how this development gets built. So there's a lot of, how many pages is it total? 300?
Yeah, 33 for just the DA, but then there's like 300 pages for the engineering standards, 200 for the code development code. It's like a 600 page.
So it's the biggest one we've ever seen.
Yeah.
That we've ever been a part of. And this is where Bob comes in again. Bob has gone through it. And so he's provided a lot of input, a lot of comments. He's seen a lot of development agreements over the time. So he knows, what's kind of beneficial for our city, what's beneficial for our developer. So he's helping us navigate all those little things. So we feel good that at least on the initial 33 page, we'll be able to get that back to Blue Fern by next week. So we'll continue working on that while the ordinance is going forth with the fire district. The fire district is one that needs to participate, but we'll also have to set up individual meetings with the library. They're also a taxing district, EMS, PUD. And the cemetery was on there. So even though those particular entities are not required to be a part of the CRF because their amount is so small that it doesn't require them to be a part of it, we still want to have those conversations with them so they understand what's going on and how it will impact us going forward. So that's kind of where we are right now. The next thing that would come to council as far as approvals would more than likely be the development agreement and or the ordinance. But we don't want to we can't bring the ordinance to you until the fire district has signed on as a participant, right? Because it doesn't make sense to do any of that. So we're going to continue working on the development agreement, which will be several back and forths on how that's going to look. So I wish I had a better idea like on timeline when it'll come to you, but this whole process is very labor intensive and very there's a lot of moving parts to make this thing happen, and we're just trying to tie them all together. So if we do come to you with an ordinance or in a development agreement, know that we'll have a couple thousand hours invested in that document to get here. But it's a good learning experience. It really is. We're a lot of conversations. So it's just a big project. And so every day we learn something different when we dive into this. And so Bob Stowe has been a tremendous asset to us on the ordinance creation and now the development agreement creation as well. So money well spent, and thank you, council, for letting him come and be a part of this project. So what is there any questions, or Mayor, did I forget anything that you were a part of the meeting today?
No, I think you hit it on it.
Okay. Yeah.
What kind of things are in the development agreement that we have to?
Oh, geez.
Let's wait till the end.
Yeah.
Like I said, just
Well, it spells out everything, right?
everything to do with everything that's going on.
Yeah, like how zonings are done, how timelines, how things are processed, how quickly they're processed, changes, if there are changes to be made, who can make those changes and what process do they have to go through to change them? Just a couple examples. I won't go into details about it because this is their proposal. Their proposal basically let me change about anything. Just without you folks, I just basically with my pen agree to change it. Obviously, that's not the process we have here. And nor will that be what we submit back to them. So it's a lot of little administrative procedural things like that. Some of it's locking in fees, locking in, whatever the fees are today, they'd like them to be locked in for a period of time. Which obviously doesn't work, right? There's reasons why fees change and why they go up. And so it's a lot of little stuff like that. I know Cody's team, they're much more involved in the real detail piece of what can go and what can happen. And then the other piece that ties into the conceptual of the master plan is really tied in with the development agreement, right? So the master plan conceptual will come to council as well, but that can't come to council until we have the development agreement done, right? So there's the ordinance, there's the conceptual, there's the development agreement that all kind of got to be simultaneously worked on and flushed out at the same time. And so it'll come like in a wave, right? So there'll be a lot of behind the scenes, and all of a sudden, bam, it'll come to council and say, here we are.
So there's nothing to look at right now?
No.
At all? You haven't seen anything?
No. Well, I've seen the development agreement and the ordinance. Yes, we've seen all that. It's just,
No conceptual idea of what we're talking about.
yeah. So, yeah, we have nothing that we would bring to council or feel good bringing any of it to council yet. So we wouldn't want to come to council until we think it's something that is close to what council will want, right? So, yeah, and so it'll,
Going through the fine print right now.
we're making sure, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's what we're.
Yeah, nothing of that. Yeah, we haven't seen anything like that yet.
So we need to have that narrowed down before we can get to that.
Is there anything else about the DA you want to say, just as far as what we're working through on that, or how your team's impacted by that, or?
I think you mentioned it really well, like because we have, it literally locks in the city for the next 20 to 30 years. And it's this council, this mayor doing that, we need to make sure it's right because we're making future councils be bound to something, right? So we want to make sure that everything is right. And so Todd's exactly right. We're going through it, it's fine tooth comb. My entire team has reviewed it. And I mean, Reza alone had probably 800 edits. That's how much we have to go through it. It's a process, but it's important because we.
Time to read it before we.
Yes.
Make a peek.
Public Services Committee, the study session, the actual meeting itself, there's gonna be multiple opportunities for council to look at this, give feedback, and if necessary, for us to go back and forth with Blue Fern and get it to the council to what you want and what's acceptable to you.
Yeah, so we'll continue to update council through the committee process, whether it's general government, whether it's Public Services Committee. Before anything came to be a vote, we'd come back as a study session and give you what documents we had to show you what we were bringing forward. So there'll be tons of discussion to get to that point, but it's just a lot of moving pieces. Yeah. So is there any other questions? If you ever have questions about any of it too, stop by, give me a call. I'd gladly fill you in on where we are with all of it. So. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Todd. The only other thing from Mayor's report is, thank you for councilors for able to make the agency. I think we're gonna see some initiatives come out of, some of the council members from that trip. And looking forward to that. We will be working with y'all to make that happen now, different stuff. And also for other councils that just want to do initiative, we are gonna be going through the budget cycle here pretty soon. What is it, Todd, we're calling what, next month for staff?
No, staff is this month. So we started our personnel request. We'll have general budget, our general item request due by the 20th. And then we will start, I think August 1 is for like outside budget requests, council budget requests, things like that. So so by August, we'll have a much clearer picture of where all the requests hit. So the idea is that I think by middle of August, we'll know all of the major requests from the city, and then we'll know where we're at budget wise, and be able to kind of start penciling that in. So a lot of work being done on that too.
And I will be meeting with you all one-on-one and as well as Cody and Todd. If you want to have the budget request, if you have priorities that you want to see in the budget, whether it's public safety, transportation, whatever, we'll try to make those happen in the grand scheme of things. So.
That was my question, is the process, like this, when you do this, is it we email, is it talk to you, is it actually?
So some of this is, we've already heard like council retreats,
Yeah.
we reached staff priorities. those that are gonna be whittled down, you know, after Todd and I look through it. We'll be going, and Stephanie as well, we'll be kind of whittling those down to the must-haves that we think at least. The mayor's budget will be presented to council. Council will have opportunities to make it our budget at that point, with things that hopefully we don't want something that the council is not gonna pass, obviously. So we're gonna work with you to make sure your priorities are heard and met. And hopefully this budget that's presented will reflect those your views and your perspectives as well. That's all I've got. I have any answer questions on any of that.
And which are their current council member initiative? Yes, I mean, I see the.
I've got a list of them, so, just to share, give everybody a heads up and some things, this came out of the. No. Yeah, Director Cole, just want to let you know that, an individual who is also an avid bicycle rider, talked about his group and his people who like to come through Yelm. They ride all over. They say Yelm does a great job on trimming the vegetation for vehicles. The bike lane, they have to move at times out. So he had a simple request. Could we kind of take a look at that and help out the bicyclists with the bike lanes? And also another thing that came out of one of the work groups, and it's something that is very important. And I want to try to figure out what the right process is. We need to find a way to work with PSE. Just like we have water rights, we need to start working with PSE in reference to energy. The reason, a good example is in Eastern Washington Tri-Cities. They can't expand much more because they put so much stress on the power grid that they don't have the power. So they are doing a lot of work on trying to make that happen. And it came out that a lot of the communities are not aware of that. So I'd like to try to find how do we go about doing it, that part of the permitting process of, okay, we need this much water rights, also the energy that is needed, because we don't want all of a sudden give somebody the ability to develop, they get all the way to a certain point and all of a sudden power grid starts calling brownouts. So that is something that we kind of need to work on. Also with Comcast, another utility, I had some really good conversations with the Comcast people there. They were going back and forth, and I will give a full report when I'm done. But what I'm reaching out to them about is what is our infrastructure look like for internet broadband, so that we can look at possibly if we have like top tier. We want to make sure that we let businesses that are looking at coming to Yelm know you've got an internet that is top tier. You're not going to lose anything. In addition, Comcast also offers out for low income houses for low income families, reduced rates, as well as possibility of getting personal computing devices, so their children and people are able to access the internet. So they have a few programs trying to get all of that so that we can get something brought before council as an educational thing, see how we can get that information. Again, with that was a good question about the e-bikes. I had some good conversations with people. That's how I found out about what's going on. In reference to the e-bikes, a few things that we as a city need to start looking at. Charging stations for them. What do they require? Because just like the electric vehicles, e-bikes will also need a way to charge. And so that needs to be looked at. And I think not just with the e-bikes, but with the whole biking community as a whole, I think we need to work with public safety and have a campaign of what are the rules of the road. Ride a bike with traffic, not against traffic, ride on the road, not the sidewalk, just these various things, because hopefully we can build our community to where it has a lot of biking capability, and we want to make sure it's safe and that people have the right way to know how to use it. I wanna let the mayor and the city administrator know, Civics 101. Our community is one of the better ones that's putting that out. I sat through a class on that and listening to them, some of the issues that they run into, I kept thinking ours is really good. So you guys, you know, just nothing but improvement can be done, but right now we're ahead of time curve on Civics 101. Two last things. One of them dealt with the housing market. And this is where, in particular with Blue Fern, I don't know where we talked to them about it. I sat through a briefing on the housing market. And the gentleman who gave it was a wonderful briefing. I'm gonna see if they actually taped it so that I can send the link out to everybody. One of the big things he said in reference to making affordable housing is we have the high density, i.e. apartments, that kind of housing. We have single family homes. What's missing are the homes in the middle. Some examples of those are townhomes, row houses, duplexes, quadplexes. In other words, it's the smaller home that is one you're probably not going to stay in for your whole life, but it's one that initial homeowners can get into, as well as later on, those in their golden years can return to. So that's what's missing. That's what's hurting our housing market, in particular, state of Washington. And the last thing was with Yelm Creek. I'm gonna work with the mayor, reference that report that I referenced. I want to find a way for us to get Yelm Creek cleaned up. The previous city engineer, he showed me some wonderful information about the floodplains, in particular, properties that are near Yelm Cinema that have the creek to their back. The more that the creek has been neglected, the bigger that floodplain has got. And so through some of the discussions, learning ways to finance, way to find things to do that, I'd like to work with the mayor to find a way that we can start looking at taking care of Yelm Creek to shrink the floodplain so that then developers might be more interested in the properties to put up some really nice developments in that area. Not single family homes. So I've heard that there was a couple of developers that were interested in mixed use, doing a really nice mixed use complex. And they also looked at how the floodplain was and they went, I may have the number wrong, but they said buying that property and only having access to 1/3 of it wasn't worth it. So that's one of the things that we as a community, I think we need to help out so that then we can have something come in and help our community. So that's all I got. Thank you.
I got a question, Councilman Hess. With that floodplain, did you find out anything about like a riparian buffer? Because I know that there's a distance from the creek that you are not allowed to build or.
There are buffers. It's one of the other things that I talking with the previous engineer. There are certain rules in reference to how you shore up the creek for like where it does a turn, where it turns or something like that. It can't be impeded, but there's ways that you can go about doing it so that it kind of keeps it secure in that one area.
All right.
So, I mean, these are things that we really should be looking at, I think, and I want to try to find out how difficult it will be for us to set up for our city's future.
It sounds like you were really inspired by the conference and then yours.
I was going to start by saying that so far, this last retreat was my favorite one that I've been on. I thought it was very productive. Very well put together.
Yeah.
I love the venue. So I just wanted to say that it seems we've been here a long time. So thank you everybody for that. And secondly, with regard to my initiative and the painting. Do you know when that will be done and what the plan is?
We are absolutely, council, we are absolutely in this building here.
Well, Cody, have you, Getting there. Cody, have you gotten those quotes re-looked at or?
I did email them all. They're supposed to send me re-quotes. I've only gotten one back. I'm waiting for the other two. So as soon as they have, because the quotes were only good for a certain amount of time. So I asked him to give me new quotes so we could bed off them. Once I have the quotes, I will provide them to, yeah, once I have the quotes, we will move forward.
Guess my question is, are you planning to just like redo what we have already, or are you open to any changes?
What kind of changes?
Well, just, you know, maybe a cream that's not so yellow. You know what I mean?
I think we're probably gonna leave that up to Public Works, probably Cody.
Okay, so I'll just talk to Cody.
Yeah.
Just nuance.
I don't think we're changing it up this much. Our quotes probably are to repaint what we have currently, the yellow Yelm up there. I think it's pretty much what we have.
It's just to refresh everything, including the pillars.
Yeah.
So council has no say in the colors?
Probably not, no.
Drops of money. It's
Like, are we gonna have the rainbow parts over here, or like, you know, I need to know. There's rainbow colors within these style.
It will probably reflect what's currly on the
Oh,
building.
just talk to Cody.
Yeah.
That's all.
Thank you for bringing that one, Gary.
One initiative, you gotta work through it all the way.
Say it out loud and take it.
It has to be.
Is there anybody else? David, are you? Rizzo and, no, and Tracy, Phil for today and Joe. Wonderful.
Brian, do you have something else?
Brian has one.
Councilmember Kaminsky, reminded me of another one. It's because during discussions about the development of the multi-plan community, there's been comment, statements made not only within the chambers, but also in other locations of moving the city hall, moving a lot of things and making it new, and we can have a newer look and all, and then the historical just stays historical. I sat through some discussions on that as well, and one of the locations somebody had recommended I look at is looking at Gate Harbor. They did the exact same thing. They had their original area, and then they started to expand, and how they did that expansion and yet maintain their historical area. So that is
It's something council can consider. I mean, the councils in the past and current administration as well is pushing for a lot of the improvements that you're seeing here in this downtown core, from the active alleyway to these couplets. These are all things that we're trying to center government facilities in one location on the drive. We absolutely, if that's something council wants to go through, we can, look through that, those possibilities, but as far as the investments that previous councils, this administration is pushing for, the investments we have been making are in this area, but it doesn't mean we have to.
In 30 years.
Yeah.
People might feel different.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Anybody else? Then I think that was a beautiful meeting. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I call this meeting adjourned.